Okay, good afternoon. So, we've not had much movement this morning. It's kind of quite consolidatory, and that's fine. We've got one consolidation here and then another. Yeah, so another one compression, move, another compression. I didn't take this trade. There were, because of the low volume node here, it didn't look very inviting in terms of risk to reward. It worked out just fine, but my trade was Euro USD instead, and that's what I tend to try and do. I focus on one thing as best I can for each session. So this afternoon I'll focus on NAS for the US session. So I do the US session in the afternoon, and in the mornings for London I do Euro USD 6E. So just looking, we've got a gap here from Friday to Sunday. Also had low volume. After we hit this level, this low volume node. And then shot off. On a bit of a rebound. Yeah, could go either way from here. Yeah, looking for a break of the value area, break retest, continuation for trending trade. The compression is very tight, so there's not much of a mean reversion trade to try and look for. I think it would be quite reasonable to target this gap, for example, down here if we break short, and low volume node up here if we break long. There's also a structural level here, but obviously they're a little way away so far. We've got our value area, which arguably you could split into two value areas, or two little ranges like that. Having said that, that's better. Yeah, we've got two little ranges with a low volume node in the middle. So it's really it's whether you treat it like one zone or two. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use let the big trades dictate whether I'm going to pay attention to the tighter range or the wider range, because that's That's kind of more important. But I like to be aware that we've got, you know, one range here and one range here. One compression, move between the two. Pardon me. So we're pushing the upper edge of the value area for. Let's have a look actually. The daily profile. Let's have a look at the daily profile. With the daily profile factoring in the volume down here, there's actually quite a lot in here. So the value area low for the daily profile is literally right down here at this low volume node. It's interesting. I want to see if things kind of get a bit clearer. Right, compression, move, compression, move, compression. I mean, the move Friday evening was big. After dumping all morning. There's some big buys in here as well. In this structure here, I'm going to open a new. Close the Delta tab. It's interesting. We just tapped the previous daily high here. We've not surpassed it. We literally just tapped it on Euro USD. This was the morning's trade. We couldn't break high. So this is, yeah, as I say, this is my decision level now for this. We are back inside the value area, which is kind of bearish really, in terms of the next moves. Just going to clear this up a bit because I know I said I'm going to focus on NAS, and I am, but we've still got 15 minutes before open, and kind of it's one of those things where the more I watch it before open, the more confused I am by the time it actually happens. The good trades for me are the ones that I can see clearly. If I spend too long looking, I end up like trying to guess even more or trying to make it up almost. So yeah, this is still what I'm looking at for Euro for a potential. We have the Delta profiles on TradingView, hilarious. They're so vague. Okay, so there is a big big level in here. There were some big cells in here as well. Like it wasn't yeah, some big cells in there, and they haven't been broken. So I think if we surpass this, that's interesting. If we surpass this, that's really interesting. So I've got that to be aware of, and I've got this to be aware of. Because so far we've failed to break the high once, twice, 3, 4 times so far. So that's all I'm looking for on EU. Because at the moment we're staying within the previous day's candle. We've not broken out to go anywhere. Now let's look at NAS again. Anything super interesting here? Ooh. There we go, look at that. Okay, so that's the big, that's the big buy spike we have got. So this, where is it in relation to our profiles? That must be the wrong chart. That must be in here somewhere. What time? 11:35. No, we're way too early. So it's here. Around the top of this candle we have like that. So that might be the level to watch for a break. It's within the value area though. Oh no, it's not. It's not within the value area of the range that we've been ranging in all morning. So I think we can consider that valid if it's a break. Yeah, absolutely. Can also have a look at what's at the top of the range instead of what's at the bottom. Nothing is big. You got some buys there that didn't break through, but that's not massive numbers, especially not for NQ. it's all quite low volume, isn't it? Only just now on this quarter past candle, we've found some buys, and we've tapped this, which is that big order here. Which is interesting. We've tapped that and found some support. I am going to use this range value area and not a wider one. I'm going to do that. And so far, I've only seen the only big trades are buys. There's not a lot of information to go on yet, really. We have, of course, got these low volume nodes. Arguably, this could have been an entry for a mean reversion. That's come through as a big trade on my MetaTrader, which is interesting right there. Yeah, arguably this could have been a buy for a mean reversion trade, but it's such a tight compression area that it's not really. I'm going to put a custom profile on this one as well. Where are we? I was trying to explain to a friend of mine recently about trading, because because I always, if ever I'm honest about what I do or actually say what I do, there's always this. It's always the same reaction, I suppose. But he was asking me questions about it, and we had a bit of a chat, bit of a discussion, a bit of a like mind bending, conversation. Because really, I find that no one really gets why it's like why it can be hard, or why it can be easy, or why it can be possible, or why it can be considered to be a scam, depending on who you are and what you do and what you think. Because for a lot of people, I suppose it can be considered hard or difficult, to the point at which they don't believe it's possible, or they don't believe they're capable of it, or they don't believe that there's really any opportunity there, because it is, it takes certain attributes, and it takes a certain nervous system to handle it well. I'm not saying I'm that guy necessarily, even, but that's what it boiled down to, and that was the conversation, really, because I say we, men, are like tapped into, like, our regulation is based on dopamine. Our nervous system regulation is based on dopamine, and because of that, trading financial markets is directly linked to our dopamine, and therefore linked to our ability on our nervous system regulation. So it's all very, very connected. It's a bit different with women, because women their nervous systems are obviously, well, I say obviously, they're based on oxytocin and hormones like that more so. Okay, so I've got some buyers coming in here, but that's not one big trade. This is a big trade. So yeah, because a man's nervous system regulation is based on dopamine, or is like kind of, dopamine's pivotal to it, and it's important because dopamine is released upon the anticipation of making money, the anticipation of succeeding at something, or getting something right, or winning, that kind of the gambler's addiction kind of thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm no master of it, but it's like, it's intrinsic. Your nervous system regulation, and yeah, it is completely, is like absolutely tested by trading, and that's why most people can't do it, because most people can't regulate themselves, or stay consistently regulated, or re-regulate, or notice when they're not regulating. Cool. So that's come straight out of our value area. Let's see if we, so far that looks like a wick. That's not, I mean, there's a lot in there. Yeah, see where we're closing on the 1 minute. To me, that's, you know, we've he says. So we've got a positive delta. Got a couple of big buys. We've got a... Have we got a breakout? I mean, have we even? See, because we're still on the edge of the value area, I'm not willing to take anything there. There's nothing decisive enough for me. Yeah, do you see the value area? Just shifting because there's a lot of sellers coming in, or a lot of participants. Regardless of their sales, it's not part of the strategy to go long here, because look at all that volume. We're just seeing the value area shift because there's so much volume coming in that kind of depending on the chart you look at, that could have been our entry. That would have worked. Yeah, on my MetaTrader, the profile looks much better. Well, let's see if we get follow through, because we've not got. We have got aggressive buyers still coming in. Yeah, looks like we're gonna have to wait. Did we make a real pickle out of? So this candle here, let's have a look inside. Wow. It's like a Christmas tree. So I'm looking for big imbalances. But I'm not prepared to panic or rush into anything. This has moved fast. And I'd rather miss out than lose. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that we didn't come back and fill this low volume node, because there are big buys all in here as well, big trades, and overwhelmingly they're buys, not sells. They're not bigger than these though, so they're not like biggest trade of the session kind of volume there. So if I was to trade this, I mean, I think I'm not seeing big trade sales. That's what I will say. Yeah, you see, I was watching the wrong profile on TradingView on here. That was a clear low volume node made entry opportunity, especially on the 1 minute. But a lot of the time, we make a move like this, and then we take the lows, wait and see if we get another entry on another time frame. That just moved too quick for me to react to respond to. We've still got no big trade sales at all. Yeah. So now we've clearly broken above above and out of that value area, that range. Yeah, I mean that I suppose that's why we went so quick. If you look at the previous daily high, previous daily low, see, I did not check that. Look at that candle. Like it's kind of, no wonder it didn't hang about. I think everyone looks at that daily and then goes, yep, that's my bias. So let's have a look here, see if there's any low volume nodes that we can take advantage of for a continuation or a retracement or anything. Not really, not yet. Okay, aggressive seller, first one. If we get an aggressive buyer immediately, that could give us an opportunity for an entry. Is that another seller? Is that? Yes, that's an aggressive buy immediately. 2-5. So I entered on this because we had a big trade sell and then a big trade buy immediately just after it that was a bit bigger, and now we've had another big trade buy. So there is, this might go wrong. Because it like sellers getting trapped is no bad thing, right? In the grand continuation scheme of the daily bias that we've got and the current situation and the current price. We've got no real low volume nodes in here that are needed to be visited. If we break below here, that's fine. I'm basing my trade here off of the buyers defending the momentum, the move continuing. And because of where we are in the move, I'm going to go to break even quickly, and I am also going to I'm not going to hold it super long. I'm just going to take it out when it's cooked. As soon as we saw a sell and then a more aggressive buy, that was my indication that it was worth putting risk on. Okay, that's good. So I'm at my stop's at break even now. So I can't lose. It's actually slightly in profit, but cool. I'll wick down. If it has me out again, that's fine. It's not what I want, but I don't want to see stalling and hesitation. I want to see clean continuation. I want to see these sellers just immediately get squeezed, because there are more aggressive buyers present, which is why I'm trading. If they weren't present, then I wouldn't be trading. Okay, so we broke the previous high, so I'm going to put my stop loss in profit now. My stop loss is now here. And you can see how it's like super easy to, I might get stopped out right here. I mean, I might get stopped out right here. I'm pretty much saying that the whole time. But you can see how it's super easy to like just believe you've missed the move and then give up when there's definitely an opportunity somewhere within the space. Because obviously I didn't get this move, which was, I mean, big and very quick. Okay, so now we've got a sell here. If we're out for a small profit, that's fine, because we have got seller, and unless I'm mistaken, that's me stopped. Is that me stopped out? No, it's not. Seller and then another buyer. So we've got a aggressive sell and then a buy defending that sell. I'm trailing my stop very tight here. This is probably too tight. If we break this high, then that's good. And I'll put my stop loss right behind these trades. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Done. So that's a guaranteed snack. And that's me stopped out, and that's fine. I don't want to see a retracement. I don't want to see I want to see if we get any big trades defending this level here, or otherwise I think we're going down considerably from here. This is why I run the stop so tight, because I wanted to make sure I took something. The value area has shifted a lot. Okay, that's pretty bullish. We've got no big trades backing up, so I think we're going down unless we get something with conviction here. That's the buyers taking over control after this level here, really. Yep. So we took like that. Take what you're given. Is Euro still within? Yeah. Sellers now. A little flurry of sellers there. See if they get absorbed. Oof. It's interesting. A lot of sells. An aggressive buy as well. One buy in there. So arguably that is buyers defending. I kind of want to leave this alone now. The value area shifted on the main profile, so it's like this is the value area high. So I really want to see this high broken for anything continuation-y. So I think now we've got, as this level, as I said, at the moment is sellers in control. Okay, so we've got the biggest buy delta level around where we are now, this buy or one of these two buys, it's actually the biggest. So on the 5 minute, that looks like absorption. That looks like a buy. And what you've got is you've got lots of aggressive sellers, one buyer. We've tapped the biggest buy delta level there is, and this is depending on the profile you look at, like retesting the value area high. So closing through this level would be confluence. If we can't break back above these cells, then that's not good. That's promising. There we go. So we can still come back down from there. If this is a failed high, failed new high, that's fine. Got the break, the retest. Yeah, I mean, then the aggressive sellers being absorbed. To me, this was a good entry. My entry was not the best. It was like that, and I'm now here. I'm not going to take, I'm not. If we come lower, we come lower. I'm actually going to go stops to break even now. Yeah, because of those wicks. Cool, that's good. I'm happy with that. See, this is that thing again, like all the aggressive sells without follow through, the big buy delta level, and an aggressive buy. Now I'm in my second trade with no risk on. If I hadn't had the 5 minute open, I wouldn't have been comfortable entering this on the 1 minute, I don't think. So my stop loss is now there. If we break the high, I'll probably just go like that. I haven't done that yet. There's no reason for me to not just take as much as I can straight away, because there's no reason why this won't sell off at some point. I'm also watching for big trades. Okay. So it's weird. On my broker we've broken, yeah, there we go. It's a delay. So I'd rather take the profit and keep it than, and like I'm not gonna wait and see if this low volume gets filled and lose most of my profit from that. I'm just going to move my stop up, and that'll be that. You know, if there are big trades, I might be able to take another trade if we retest a low volume node for a continuation. So okay, so we've got that there. Looks like we're continuing, which is good. Oh, hello. And that's me out. That's fine. See, I wanted to guarantee a 1 to 2. Knowing the low volume would it was very easy for it to get tested. I'd rather not give back anything that I've taken, that I'd rather not give back any gain. Okay. Potential. I've had another buy here. Don't want to see it come any lower than that. Yep. If it does, then it's not the one. Okay, sellers are stepping in, or at least having something to say, which is okay. And potentially necessary. So we've got, yeah, I mean, we've got aggressive buyers at the low volume node, pushing for the continuation. If we don't get that here, then we're again heading lower. because of the big trades, it's appealing. But if we don't break higher, then that's that. We're running out of momentum, and that's fine. At the moment, for me, there's no reason why I would consider going short, or like doing anything other than continuing to buy, based off this buy here. I fully expect continuation. Okay, that's me at break even. So I had one. I had one small loss in there, because I had one stop here, and then I retook it like here. Is it going to stop me out straight away? Nope. It's close though. So yeah, my second entry is like here. I'd rather get stopped out trying to protect risk than so my stop is. Yeah, I'd rather get stopped out trying to protect risk and have to re-enter, because they're quite small. They're small positions and the risk to rewards are very good. So, okay. Yeah. Ideally, I want to see the high break, so I can move my stop in profit. Go on, giddy up. Okay. Nice big buy. So I'm going to move my stop behind that. the basis that I don't really want to see that squeezed. Or am I going to move it behind it? Yeah, no. If it breaks the high, then definitely. As soon as it breaks above these wicks, because these wicks suggest resistance here, since like we're not making higher prices, we're just closing at the same level. I want to see us close higher. As soon as I do that, this is the okay. It looks like it looks like the high's failing. If so, it's going to be our decision level for another buy entry later on. If we, if there is another opportunity to continue the trend. Still in this. Another big buy. Supports the thesis. As I say, break of the high, and then we're moving our stops. Worst case, stopped out just in profit. For a small profit. Take what you're given. Okay. There it is. Okay. I've tucked my stop very tidily in here. Behind this might get stopped out immediately. That's fine. If this is a wick and no real price like continuation, then I'm not into it that much. Still in this. I'll let it tell me to exit rather than maybe it'll exit it for me. Because that's not super. Yeah, that's me out. Another little scrap. 1 to 2.5. You see here we're not really breaking much in terms of price, so every move is less. Next step is aggressive sellers. This is also the test of the value area as it's shifted up with the move. So we could be bouncing off that and continuing, but it's not. There's no entry for me there right now. Maybe I wonder if there's something on the 5-minute. Got these imbalances to fill and then sells. Not that I'm selling. And there's the aggressive seller. Or is it a sell? Aggressive all sorts. So we've got sells and buys in here. So whether we get the seller's absorbed again or not. Kind of got a new range here from the move that broke the value area high in the first place. So be interested in that. I'm trying to take this. Probably not this sell version, probably not the now if we come lower, so breaking this high would break the value area high. Okay. That's a break. So we've broken the value area high on my MetaTrader profile, but not on this one. On TradingView, we are now, we've got this here, which I suspect is going to want to revisit. Which will bring us back within the VA. So have taken this. Buy delta is big. Imbalance here. Filled. Stop loss will go and profit will slightly past that as soon as we, yeah, stop loss will go and profit as soon as we break above the high currently. And if we don't get our risk off yet. There's another imbalance there, so that okay. Okay, big sell. That's us out. I had my stop quite tight. See if that gets squeezed. Low volume node, but also back within the value area on this. For that range. Are we going to have absorption, or are we going to have... Because I'm guessing as soon as we break this, we're going to squeeze. Yeah, as soon as we... Because we've given ourselves something to close there. See if aggressive sellers step in. As time goes on, this is kind of just getting less and less clean to trade. It's looking, you know, kind of messy. bias still has to be bullish. So is this the squeeze I was expecting? And we're hovering at the value area high on this, so there's nothing really to do. I know we're in a trending day. We've had move, consolidation, move, consolidation, move, compression. So this is now compression really. So I can see us going for a while. So when we've got, our bias for the day, which we had our initial balance, we had our break. Let's zoom out a little bit. So on here for me, we have low volume node. There, and then this is clearly another range, like another. I mean, how long's each of these, like, in terms of time? measury thingy. Five hours, 5 to 6 hours. This was the move from the London Open. This was the move from the New York Open. Not a huge amount different, to be honest. And now this is where we are waiting. It's like being in a waiting room. I tend to go like 5 minute for New York Open, and then like 5 minute time frame priority for New York Open, and then like after the session's happening, after we've broken the value area, or we've found our bias, or what, whether we're ranging or whether we're trending, I then go down to the 1 minute to find the low volume nodes and the big trades and exactly where they are, so I can be accurate with my stops and my entries. And then usually by the time that trade's over, I'm back on the 5 minute to review where we're at and where we've gone and what's likely next, because a lot of the time there's that first impulse, and if you're in quick, you can get in quick, and that can work out, and then you find there's another low volume node somewhere else that is to get filled before the next thing can happen. So I find going back to the 5 minute afterwards works well. Now let's have a look at the delta profile. So we've got a big buy here. All euros moving. Big sell here. Okay, so we're reclaiming some significant sells. Delta levels, sell delta levels. Don't know why I say some when I mean one. Within the new balance, the new value area, there's also a very big buy right at the top. So if we do, yeah. Let's check on euro. Because there was a big, pretty much the only big trade was a sell in here. There was a buy as well, was smaller, half the size, I think. Broke the value area low. Retest. Continuation. Is it really as simple as that? Yep. So what we had was a big trade, broke the value area low, retested it here with this low volume node, and now we're moving down. The entry was the retest of this. for a continuation. Although that is a big buy. Big buy in there. Okay, another great example here that I wasn't watching. And that was a good trade, a good entry. Something like that. Broke the value area low, quick retest, bosh down. We had an aggressive buy in here, which just got squeezed immediately. If there was a big trade sell in there as well, I would have taken and probably a position to add to it. But there is also the low volume node there, so there was less room for that one to run. Okay, so be serious. there was a low volume node there. We've reclaimed quite a few of the big sell spikes on the delta. Now we're retesting some of the original big buys, or the biggest one now, which is the one that we retested and got our entry on before. Now we're breaking it. Would have been an interesting sell here. So we broke our value area. Bosh. Tested it, broke it. And we melted straight away. So now I think we are looking to we've reached our previous balance. To me that looks like we're gonna sweep the highs, sweep the lows, end up somewhere in the middle. We'll see. I don't think we're gonna get any more buys now. If you see what I mean, unless we break this high. We need to break that high for any more buys. The sellers here need to all be absorbed. That's not unlike the NAS, to be fair, to have like a something like that, or something whereby this, like I've seen this a lot actually. Price will do that. Yeah, and you'll have a ton of big trades in here because you'll have this low volume node tested, breaking this the low of this value area here. This one could go as well, but the low volume node is right down here. Not to forget the gap. So it's either this or it's this. And I think really for the buy, I'd be looking. Yeah, I wouldn't want to. I don't really want to take inside here, as much as it could be potentially valid. Now in euro we have sells here. big trade sell. I mean, it's a target, right? It's a bit ambitious, perhaps. I suppose it's whether this low volume node really holds significance. I think, again, it's the kind of structure whereby we could just wick past it and then fly. No, it's quite a good low volume node, isn't it? It's quite a... Yeah, it's kind of invalid. Does invalidate the sell. That would have been a nice trade, maybe. Well, it had every reason to be, if it wasn't for that low volume node being so low of volume. So we've got no big. Have we got big trades? Let's have a look. Let's reset my splash. So we have got some big buys coming in on euro. Yeah, you see, this is the. Yeah, that response from the low volume. No, we've got some big buys coming on the NAS. So we've got big buys there, big buys there. Back inside our initial balance. Created a big wodge of low volume. It's like it's time for the buyers to get squeezed. I think this could turn into a decision level here. So we've got these big buys. This is the wick down. The high risk trade would be taking that or something like that. Does that make sense? Probably. Does to me. That's all it needs to be. And then this one, how are we continuing? Yeah, we are. Heck. I saw the sell and I thought that's a good trade, right? And then I looked across and I was like, dang it. Welp. I think it could fly at any moment. Yeah. squeeze the cells. That's the potential for, that's potentially the same trade as on the NAS already. So there's that low volume node there. I think that wants to visit that gap. Again, for the model, really, I'm not in it for a buy unless we're above all of that. Okay, so it looks like we might be going for the we might be selling our way downtown. Break below the value area of the original range. Filling the low volume node. Got a buy in here. Two buys in here. So we've got a lot of I think this is exactly what I thought it was, you know. I think we're gonna fly from here. It's just too high risk to be anything that's a trade. We've gone right into the low volume node. Really. And now we've found a lot of volume. We've got one big sell and four big buys. Made a low volume node here. I want to see this to enter anything. If we squeeze these buys, then this was it. And that was it. Yep. And I missed it because of a typo. Maybe that's for the best, because maybe we're going to get wicked way back up. It is, again, it is like an absolute Christmas tree in there. So I'm now looking at this thinking we've broken the value area low of the initial balance range. There's this balance here, obviously, which we are now into. So this could still be like quite a sticky area, or we could go straight through to the previous daily low. I'm interested in the previous daily low and the gap left over from last week. There's literally quite a few targets in the southerly direction. Well, so there's this here, this top of this candle. I want to close through that. And not like wick it because of the imbalance. I want to see that. I want to see this close through. Because that's the wick. So if we surpass this wick, then I'm in on a buy limit there. Buy stop rather. So I'm in this buy. I'm not in this buy. I'm out of this buy. My stop was too tight. My stop was quite tight, but the way we were responding to this low volume node gave me no choice in it, and that's fine. What a day! Interesting trades. So that's the retest of the low volume node. So here, by this logic, we are now I'm done. I'm gonna call it 25160. I'm in this cell, but what I'm gonna do is target the previous daily high. Two five. Figure out where that target is on MetaTrader. 25234. So I'm going to call it, I'm going to put the previous daily high as the target now, and just walk away, because I'm not high conviction on this, and I don't think it was a good entry because my conviction isn't very high. Because my model isn't very clear. And because I'm not very clear on my model, I'm not very comfortable with it. I still favor this as the next kind of valid trade. This is too much in the middle. I want a clear break because there's lots of targets on to the downside. I want to see a break of this low here before I look to get in short, and at the moment I'm not seeing that. So I'm interested in this or that potentially, but even this is within inside the daily value area, so it's not. I'm gonna call it for the day.